Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to season 2022. We have to talk a little bit about a problem that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to present a solution to. So we have to kind of embrace that we have a problem in the SUP sport. Remember when we were talking about this Olympic flow chart here on how a sport becomes Olympic, and how in the first section we are talking about a foundation on how a sport is getting established, how a sport is getting Olympic recognition. Doesn't mean they have to be including a sport, but at least get some sort of recognition. And this morning it kind of struck me. And by the way, what also strikes me is that thank you guys for supporting this video. Thank you guys for liking, commenting, and engaging in this video. It really means a lot to me. So it really struck me that we're gonna look at 2022 and we're gonna have a lot of champions. Again, we're gonna have a lot of champions, a lot of rankings, a lot of titles, and there is still no unified worldwide ranking kind of system. And it really bothers the living, you know what, out of me. I mean, we can start going on with like, well, the first and foremost international one, we have the APP Tour. That's an international tour. That's great. They're gonna have a world champion there, several stops around the world, so that definitely gives some legitimacy. Of course, is everybody participating? I don't know. I don't know who's going to participate and is going to follow that tour in its entirety. Probably not all of everybody. So, is that going to be it? Well, then we have the ISA World Championships in Puerto Rico. That's going to crown a world champion. And then we're going to have the ICF with another world champion in Poland. So that gives us 3 world champions. All right, and the ICF, we know they're leading up to the world championships in Poland with a tour as well, so you can participate there in order to get into the world championship, and then your world championship there. So again, title. Then, of course, we have smaller tours. You're going to have a champion of the Euro Tour. We're going to have a champion of more local tours. We have a SUP Alps Trophy coming, which is cool. That's more like a small kind boutique type tour. You're going to have national champions. Some countries will have canoe champions, and some countries will have surfing association champions. So we're all over the place, people. Make no mistake. We are all over the place with this. On Facebook, World SUP ranking keeps popping up. I reached out to them and they promised they're going to get back to me with some sort of a explanation on what that is. So I'm looking forward to hear from that. Well, you guys are going to be the first ones to hear. And then we had, of course, you know, we had back in the day Chris Parker with his SUP ranking that took everything under consideration. So then we have the WPA, which I haven't heard a beep out of it in a long time. I think one SUP race, I think the Carolina Cup or the Gorge had some WPA. So that's another thing that who knows exactly what's going on there. So we are all over the place. So how are we going to get this flow chart here started if we are all over the place? I really don't know. We have to find a way on how to unify this whole problem, on how to unify the entire SUP sport. I mean, and I see the problem with it, you know, don't get me wrong. I see the problem with it, particularly if you want to do something that takes everything under consideration. So let's say the SUP World Rankings by SUP Race are still, in my opinion, by far the most valuable one there ever was. But how do you weigh a race? You know, like at race A, maybe top of the 5 guys are in there. Race B, you have some guys are missing. There's more participation in this race than in others. So how do you give weight and rank those races, and then really give a guideline to athletes to say, okay, I need to go to this race, I need to go to that race in order to really pull my weight around. So what do you do with this? What do you do with it? And what is going to keep me from doing my own ranking? If I had a time on my hand, why would I not just start a stand-up magazine world championship ranking, and I could just like cherry pick, you know, let's say, for example, just for fun real quick, let's just assume that there is somebody out there that has a shit ton of money and they just want to throw it away. So, and then they could say like, well, let's throw a wrench into this SUP world, and we're going to decide we're going to make the stand-up World Championship Ranking Tour. You don't need to organize a race, you don't need to do nothing, you just need to come up with some races. So you could say like, well, race A, how about this? We're going to give $10,000 to the winner. Has nothing to do with the organizers, it's just some guy that wants to have fun. And say like, this is going to be our 3-star race, and there the winner's going to get 10 grand, and the other one's going to get, the seconds get 8, and so on. And you just throw money like mad. And then every racer, of course, like, well, I want to go there because that's where I get a lot of money if I win, and I get points. And then you could just pick races randomly around the world. It's like, those are the races that I want to put into my ranking, and the final ranking person and the final champion in this whole ranking of these races is going to get another, I don't know, $50,000. Let's say you're Jeff Bezos or some other rich douchebag who you can basically throw money at whatever you want and how much you want. What would keep you from doing it? Who would stop you? And what would happen? Well, nothing. A whole lot of guys would have got a whole lot more money, and a whole lot of guys were just starting following a certain tour. And all of a sudden you kind of be taking over the SUP world, and everybody would come running to you and say like, me, because money talks. So that's actually how simple and easy it were. But nobody is going to go throw around money like this, so evidently that's of course not going to happen. It's just a thought experiment. But what kept a guy like Chris Parker to start coming up with a smart spreadsheet and an algorithm and pick those races and kind of create a ranking system that is being, I want to say, calculated on what races are important and what not. And then there you have it. But sadly, Chris decided to discontinue that. Nobody took it over. There was nobody that filled in that gap. And ever since, I feel like we have this void. We have this void. And I've been preaching my idea for years and years and years and years to about everybody that I was ever talking to. And I always kept saying, we need one final big event of the year where everybody comes to. There is going to have to be a tour where people qualify into the final event. So let's say, for example, I told this to the ISA and people surrounding the ISA, and I told it to Tristan and everybody, trying to put the bug into their brain that, so we have a yearly tour, but SUP is expensive. There is not a lot of money in it. You have to travel. So there's a lot of local heroes that can't afford to run from Osaka to Korea, to Mexico, to Brazil, to Australia, or wherever those races are, and travel around and have a 14-foot board traveling along with it. They just can't do that. But you have some people that can, and some people have the sponsors and they want to. So that's the ones that can do it. So let those people continue with this tour. Let those people qualify into, say, an ICF annual event or an ISA annual event, who cares? But then give local racers that can only locally race because they can only drive so far, they can't fly around crisscrossing the world. They have day jobs that are actually, they have to support their hobby with, because let's just be honest, SUP is just at this point a hobby for 95% of the people that are participating in the sport. They support themselves with something else. Let those also qualify to the big event at the end of the year, and then make it a big event, make it a real event, make it a 2-week thing, kind of like the Triple Crown used to be in Oahu for surfing. 3 contests, and make it like everybody can meet. You have people with wild cards, people qualifying from underneath, and you have the top guys, and all-inclusive world elite people meeting with country elite people, and then you have the best of the best at the end of the year. Make that with one organization, or organizations get together. Say, for example, private organization like the APP will then say, okay, we're going to do this together with the ISA. So we're not going to have an ISA champion and an APP champion, because they kind of like in cahoots with each other. At least ISA owns part of the APP. So why not at least marry these two together and then see what you can come up with the ICF, or just everybody marry each other, and we have one big happy SUP ranking system. It's a huge problem. We're all over the place. And how are we ever gonna get started in this flow chart, getting some sort of a recognition, if we are all over the freaking place, guys? How? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen this year. It's not going to happen next year. If anything, this year, I'm going to have to start keeping track of how many champions we have. I can make a list like made in 2018 or 2019, where we came up with like 6, 7 champions, world champions, and everybody goes around, oh, look at me, I'm a world champion. It's like, well, so is that guy over there. How's that good for your value? How does it value your title when you have to share a world championship with, or a world title with somebody else? How are you going to go to your sponsors and like, oh yeah, I'm a world champion now, I need more travel money, or I need more this and that? They're like, well, we have like 3 other guys that are also world champions. You guys have to share. It's not going to work out, and it's not going to continue to, it's not going to work out at all. 12 years in the making, it's still not working out. This flow chart is only going to end up at the mastery where everybody can be in the same boat, or in this matter of fact, on the same board. So thank you for giving me your attention, and I'll see you in the next video.